All right, now she's recording. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen. There we go. So if we look at right there, okay, I think we've got two problems to do today, and then we'll talk about the exam and how that'll handle. So problem 1A, and that is on page, do not have my book ready. 1037. So I can go through this one step by step. I'm not sure that anybody wants me to do that. A through T, I sure can. Does anybody have any questions on this? One's pretty straightforward. You're identifying, is it a fixed cost, is it a variable cost, or is it mixed? Did anybody have any questions on 1A? That one's pretty straightforward, but I'm happy to clarify any one of those that you wonder why they put it where they put it. Salaries are always fixed. Anything that's, wages or hourly, of course, is variable. That would be important to remember. Outside of that, everything else, I think in here is pretty straightforward. Mixed, of course, has that component of fixed and variable. Any questions on 1A? Pretty similar to the one that we did earlier. If not, then I'm just gonna scroll down to problem 2A, and this one too is not really that terribly difficult. There's just some things here that we gotta split. And if you look at the exercise in the book, page 1038, what they have there is what we would call our normal looking income statement, right? Sales less cost of goods sold is our gross profit. And then everything below that would be all of our selling expenses and administrative. And certainly in our normal income statement, there'd be a whole lot more accounts there and much more detail, but the format is what we would know as our normal income statement. And then but the problem is some of those costs are obviously, some are variable and some are fixed. So what they did is right below that income statement, right below where it says operating income, it says these costs, the division of costs between variable and fixed is as follows. So of the cost of goods sold, and if you look above, it's 100 million, 70% is variable, 30% is fixed. And same with selling and administrative. They give you that split. And it says here, keep reading along now, management is considering a plan expansion that will permit an increase of 11.28 million in sales. The expansion will increase fixed costs by 5 million, but will not affect the relationship of sales and variable costs. So that sales to variable cost, that contribution margin, that ratio will stay the same. So it just says here, number one, determine the total variable and total fixed. So all we do here is we take the totals that we see on our income statement. There's the 100 million and then there's the 16 and the 12, but we take it times the variable percentages and we get that cost. And then if you take the variable from the total, that's what they're doing here in this second part, that basically backs you into the fixed cost. So we know that this is cost of goods sold, 70% is 70 million. Well, the difference is 30%. Here's your 30 million of fixed. So step one was to identify how much was variable and how much of it was fixed. Number two, it says determine the unit variable cost. Unit variable cost. Well, that is right here where we figure out, sales, and we take it divided by the number of units that we're producing. Well, that was the very first sentence there. Portman Company operating at full capacity sold 1 million units at a unit price of $188. Well, if you take that 188 million of sales, and we put it here too, 188 million divided by 1 million, of course, that's still going to be our 188. And that's what it says in the book too. It's going to be $188 per unit. The variable costs, well, variable costs, we got to take that right up here. All the variable costs, cost of goods sold, selling, administrative, all variable costs. 88 million divided again by that million units that we're producing is $88. So what's our contribution margin? Sales minus the variable costs, or $100. So letter A, what's a unit variable cost? Unit variable, $88, that's right here. And then letter B, what is the unit contribution margin? 188 minus 88 is $100. Any questions on 2 so far? Number 3, compute the break even in sales. Break even, again, what's the formula? Fixed costs, 40 million right here, divided by our unit contribution margin, and we said our unit contribution margin here is $100. So 40 million divided by 100, that means we got to produce 400,000 units, and we make nothing. We'll break even. 400,000 units, and we will have a 0 for our operating income. If somebody could answer this question, I don't care who, if we sold 401,000, 40001, so 400,000 plus one more unit over 400,000, then how much would we make? Anybody want to give me the answer for that? How much would we make if we sold 400,001 unit? Say that one more time. $1. So what we'd actually make, very close, we'd make this right here, this $100, right? Because for every unit we sell, we make $100. Does that make sense? So every unit we sell, we're making $100. We would have to sell 400,000 of these just to break even. So if we sold 400,001, we'd make $100. If we sold 400,002, we'd make $200. Everybody with me on that? Okay. Number 4, it says compute the break-even sales and units under the proposed program for the following year. All right, so in number 4, it's what we're doing here is if we were to do this, and it says here in that reading, the expansion will increase fixed costs by 5 million. So what we're doing is we're going to take our original 40 plus the expansion, and it said in the very last sentence of that paragraph, but it will not affect the relationship between sales and variable costs. So this $100 is just telling us that that still is a good number. Now we would have to sell 450,000 units in order to cover that additional 5 million in costs. So 450,000 units and we'll break even due to another 5 million in costs added. Please stop me if you have a question. Number 5, it says determine the amount of sales that would be necessary underneath the proposed program to realize the 60 million of operating income. Well, look at there. So that's that hurdle, right? We know what our fixed costs are, but we want to realize yet another 60 million in income. So here up in number 3, here's our fixed. 400,000 will make us just break even. Well, we don't want to just break even. We want to also have another 60 million of operating income. So now we have 100 million in our numerator divided by still the $100 per unit contribution margin. We would need to sell 1,050,000 units, and then we'll obtain a $60 million operating income. Okay, 60 million in operating income. Any questions on 3, 4, or 5? Anybody? Okay. Number 6, it just says here, determine the maximum operating income possible with the expanded plant. Okay, well, all right. So what we're trying to do here is get to operating income again, all right? So we take our sales, which was the original 188 million, right up here, 188 million. Total sales, 188 million, or if you look in your book, 188. This 11,280,000 is below that in that paragraph. Management's considering that plant expansion that will increase sales by 11,280,000. So now we got 199,280. We just said that the fixed cost, again, remember, was 40 million. But according to that paragraph, by doing the expansion, it's 40 plus the 5, right? 40 plus the 5. Well, now we need to calculate our variable costs. What is our variable costs? Well, we knew that our unit variable cost right there was 88 bucks, right? We've calculated that right here. 88 bucks for our variable costs. That stays the same. We were doing a million units. We were doing a million units, but we got to figure out how many units is this. This was a million units. As we look up here, 188, we were doing a million units, so that's how we got to our 188 or our 88. But now by adding this, how much is that? How many units is that? Well, how much are we selling them for? Well, we're selling the units for 188 bucks per unit. So if we had another 11,280,000 and you divide that by 188 units, right here, 11,280 divided by the 188 bucks per unit, that would tell you how many units we are producing just in that 11 million. Okay, so if you take your calculator, 11,280,000 divided by your 188, that is another 60,000 units. So 60,000 units plus the million that we were doing for this, that's where we get this 1,060,000. So the variable costs need to reflect all of these at a million units plus another 60,000 for those units, all at that same $88 price, is a total of 93,280,000. Now our operating income is 61 million. 61 million. Okay. Compared to, if you look in the book, if we only did the million units, we were making 60 million. So I think that's interesting to see, is that when you look at the additional fixed costs that you had to add, we're only making $1 million more with those 60,000 additional units. Number 7 is a really great question. It says, if the proposal is accepted and the sales remain at the current level, what will be the operating income or loss for the following year? And I'll tell you, you know who would ask that kind of question, or who would love to hear the answer to that question if you went with this proposal? Especially if you took this proposal to the bank and you said to the bank, we want to borrow 5 million or whatever the dollars is, 5 million, the fixed cost. But notice here, even if we add the 5 million of costs and nothing changes, we don't produce any more, we're still at the $60 million level. So that's what you get out of the book there. Operating income was 60 million, but we added another 5 million of costs. We're still in the black. We still are making money. And every banker would be extremely happy to see that, because usually what ends up happening is you ask for the loan, but you do need increases in sales in order to service that loan or to remain in the black. But here it just says, even if we add another 5 million of fixed costs and we don't sell one more than what we are already selling, we're still good. We're still good by $55 million. Those kind of proposals is what the bank would love to see you put together when you're considering an expansion or some kind of proposal. Any questions on problem 2A? Anybody have any questions on any of this? Anybody? All right, well, let me go back here a minute. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm not sure, am I back on the screen? Anybody say yes or no? All right, thank you. Hey, so let's talk about what's coming down the pipe then. So that pretty much takes care of our chapters that we will that we have in this unit: 15, 16, hardly count 17, and 20, right? So really the only thing that we've got coming down this week, it's going to be a little bit of a lighter week for some of you, is that the only thing that's due on Wednesday or by the 9th for that matter, that's on Thursday, is the take-home exams. And you'll see that out there. And then we'll take our, and the date is wrong, or probably it's not even open yet, to be honest with you. The in-class, if you will, that exam, that'll be next Monday, and that is just like what you normally would have had in class. It's just the multiple choice, so the formatting hasn't changed at all. The take-homes are the same, the problems, if you will, and that's just 15, 16, and then I think I have like something I don't remember if I have something for 17 or not. I think I do, but it's really, really short, nothing there. And then number 20, so that's the take-homes, and that's due by the 9th. And then we'll take our, if you will, the in class one, and that will be done on the LMS, and you'll see that that'll open, and that won't open until Monday, and then it'll close also on Monday, and it'll be a much shorter window of it being open. So make sure, and I'll make sure I put an email out there to let you know exactly the window of when it is open, but it won't be any different than what you normally did in the in-class exam. So you'll see that it's very much the same format. That one's closed book. You just take it on the LMS, and yeah. Anybody have questions about the format? Yes, yes. So on Wednesday, I'll come out there. I'll come online again. And if you don't have questions, and if you don't want to come out and meet, that's totally fine. What I had planned to do on Wednesday was to kind of go through the review sheet and answer questions there, and just if there were any problems from 15, 16, 17, or 20 that you wanted to go over, we could do that on Wednesday. Does that sound okay to you? Okay, good. Anybody else? Good morning, Gavin. I just see that you are on. You've probably been on for a while, but I just noticed that your name popped up. How are you today? I don't know if your mic works or not. You're still muted, so maybe your mic doesn't work, but good morning. Anybody else have questions for me? Nobody. Everybody got to show me their favorite USF attire for your extra credit. If you haven't, make sure before you log off that you show me, tell me. All right? If that's it, there are no further questions and you are free to go. I will be on Wednesday to answer questions over the review sheet if you have any, and we talked more about the test, but I'll send out an email today inviting you again for Wednesday, and also kind of the details of the dates of the various due dates and whatnot. But if you got questions between now and then, don't hesitate to email me. Call my office number. I'll get that call. But otherwise, I will talk to you on Wednesday. Hey, you guys all have a great day, all right? All right, see ya. Oh, there you, hey, Miranda, I'm glad you showed me. How are you today? Good, good. Oh, hey, how are you? I got it. Awesome. Good, good. Did you have a nice weekend? Good, good. Oh, gosh, it's a lot of work. Gavin, do you have a USF t-shirt or a sweatshirt or a hat? Hey, Alex, what can I help you with? Yeah, should we? That sounds great. Um, give me 2 minutes. I think I have yep, I have your file right here. Why don't you call me in 3 minutes and we'll start. Good idea, Alex. See you later. Have a good day, everybody.